Yo, what's going on, everybody? This your boy, B. Mahari here, representing MehariNation Sports Podcast here on a beautiful, cloudy day here in the city of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Salute to the entire LDBC, man. Salute to the greater boxing and basketball community, though, man. We got a good live stream that we're going to have for you guys today, though, man. But I want to take this opportunity to use the first half of this live stream today to talk about something that is dear to my heart, though, man. And before we do that, though, I want to introduce to the panel here that I invite over today. So, Mr. John Black Johnny, representing the UK, my Eritrean brother. What's going on, brother?
Hey man, hey, well, how you doing, bro? Everything cool over here. We're just having a nice weekend.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty calm. How's life?
Going good though, man. Going good, man. I'm actually now officially weighing 165 pounds, so I'm now starting to put the weight on now. So.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Just went through another upper body workout though, so looking good, man. Feeling good.
Yeah.
All
just
right.
Keep grinding, bro.
For sure. And then we also got Fuller Sports TV in the house, though, man. What's going on, Fuller? He's probably on mute for the moment there, so but he's in the building though, man. So he'll kind of come off on and on in between though, man. So, but now I actually wanted to spend some time in this first half of the live stream today, though, man, to talk about something that's actually dear to me and to John Black Johnny in our hearts, though, man. What's up? Oh shit, how you doing, though, man? So I wanted to talk about today, something that's been in my head for almost for a lot the last few years, but more recently now. The stuff that's going on in Eritrea at the moment, though, man, and we got a good panel we're gonna try to break down some of the things that we've been thinking about, man. So, but before I wanted to talk about that, I wanted to just speak about things about what went wrong, though, man. Now I'm not gonna get into too much about it though, because I want to save that for May 24, which is actually in 2 weeks. But John Black Johnny, I just wanted to ask you this question though, man. How do you feel about all the things that was going down in Eritrea right now?
Hey, bro. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to feel, bro. Because when I was there, it was basically just a daily routine thing. So I really don't know how to feel, bro.
Right. I understand, though, man. Maybe you could talk about if you want to. I'm not putting no pressure on you though, but just maybe give us a bit of a tiny synopsis about some of the things that's going on, in Eritrea, about what you saw from your perspective.
The last couple of years I was there, things started getting bad. So just when you talk, if you're trying to understand the things to do with like food supply, electricity, power, running water, like gas. See, when I was there, we normally used to get like electricity maybe 3 days a week, and within these 3 days, you probably get tops like maybe a couple of hours within each day. And then the water would be something like you probably just get running water maybe like 2 weeks in 5 months or something like that.
Okay.
And then your gas would be something like you basically just get a butane gas, like a tank of that, which probably around maybe weigh around some like 20 kilos of that, 20 like 2,000 milliliters of this gas, maybe a year. So basically, these are not nearly enough for one person to survive for a month, let alone a family, which is like most people over there. See, that's like basically the natural resources of things when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you look at the social side of things, basically there's no jobs, and even if you had jobs, bro, there was no guarantee that you was going to get paid. And even if you got paid, you probably get a massive cut for no apparent reason. And on top of that, before you even get paid, you have to pay tax.
Well, that just goes to show you that the country's broke as hell. You know what I'm saying? So that tells me one thing, though.
Bro, it's not broke. The country is not broke at all, bro. Like, because there is some gold mine. There used to be some gold mine going on, and there was like around $360 million that have been generated from this gold mine. Nobody knows where this money is, but it's most probably in the hands of Isaias Afwerki and some of his affiliates.
Mm-hmm.
And now
Nah,
there's no way to redistribute that money into the economy and get jobs and
right,
things of that nature. Basically, so the social side would be no jobs. Basically, there is endless, endless, timeless. I mean, like there's no time limit on the national service you have to do, and if you for some reason stop taking part in this national service, there's certain groups of the military will just come and pick you up, arrest you
right,
indefinitely, or even kill you, bro. So
right. So,
basically, that's when I was there. But right now, when I call my friends over to just check on them and see how they doing, they tell me it's like you couldn't. Nah, when he was here, bro, he was much better. But now it's unlivable. It's like really hell. It's like it's basically pretty much just all the way rogue over there.
right, right. I've heard some stories that is going down right there. The conditions of most of the villages are not really good. The military is the morale of the military is like really low because they don't trust what's going on with the administration. And I also heard some stuff that the president has been basically been in his presidential place for about 10 days. Frustrated because once they open up the borders with Ethiopia, and then essentially people were mostly escaping to there because they don't because living in Eritrea is just unbearable there. So you've heard something about on those lines, though, my brother.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Basically, initially the border was open, so people were moving freely. But recently, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia and Isaias Afwerki had like some sort of agreement saying that any Eritrean that pretty much leaves through the border will be like arrested and
Or
brought
even
down to
shot,
Eritrea.
or even
Yeah,
shot for that matter. You know what I mean?
so yeah, basically it's just all the way hell.
Right, right, exactly, though, man. And it's just like how do I sometimes scratch my head and think how the heck did we even get here to this point? And when I look back in terms of in terms of my life, because let me make one thing clear for everybody that's actually listening. I've never been to Eritrea before. In fact, our family was supposed to go in the mid-90s when 3 years after they gained independence, but then there were still some things that were still going on down there that just made it unbearable, and then the border war just kind of like pounded down things. But the thing that just astounds me is going back to during the independence war, they were still fighting for a purpose to escape the rule of Ethiopia, but I just felt in a sense that there was not much understanding or maybe figuring out a way to establish a more of a free democratic type of state, and that is just it was neglected somewhat even after they got independence. You feel that kind of sentiment though?
Yeah, bro. Basically, the first question you asked about how did we get here? I mean, it's a very like open-ended question, bro. But in my personal opinion, it was the complacency of the people who had at that point the same power as Isaias Afwerki, because they saw this guy as some sort of a god, as in
Yep.
like how certain fighters look at Floyd, as if he's God or something, like someone like
Right.
of such divine purpose, so that everybody gotta like bow down to this guy and follow what this guy did, follow whatever he do, follow in his footsteps.
Right.
It's pretty much the same way like that,
Right.
and basically it's pretty much similar. But one thing about Isaias Afwerki is this guy is very, very, very intelligent. He's a deceptive mastermind, and from what I hear, bro, like he's never killed anybody, bro. He just gives the orders.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't think he ever killed anybody personally per se, but he just mostly gave out the orders to do so. So, but it's
Yeah.
still but it's still under his head. So
See, basically, one of the stories I recently heard was that there used to be like when Eritrea gained independence in 1991.
hmm
The certain individual, certain lady from Europe just came down to Eritrea and she just met with Isaias Afwerki, and she found out that Isaias Afwerki had some Tigray, which are like an ethnicity in Ethiopia, had
Right.
roots in there. So she
Hmm.
basically just tried to just label him as a Tigray, as in Eritrea. Basically, if you're Tigray, you're not really considered Eritrean.
Mm.
So what people say, what people say from there from that point on was that Isaias from that point on just held on to that, and
Oh,
now
really?
he's on a mission to destroy Eritrea, pretty much. That's one of the things I recently heard, bro.
Wow, I have never heard of that about that story though. So I've heard some of the rumors about his, what his ethnicity is because I think one of his parents was probably Tigrayan. I think I am not so sure, but I've heard stories about that, and it's like there's still people out there that are just like, how come you don't see? How come you don't read that kind of spot in history though? But because it's just, to me, he's not real. I don't want to sound so so
I get
hypocritical.
what you mean, bro.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's not through the process of making the country better. And for almost 2 decades, the writing is just like clearly on the wall. And I guarantee you this: in 2 weeks, there's going to be two separate gatherings. One that's going to be loyal for the regime, and the other is the one that's against it, which I'm actually going to be in that one. But it's like,
Hey,
how can we as a people unite together and understand that what you're trying to believe and what he is not actually true?
hey, bro. Basically, to the best of my knowledge, bro, this is how they operate in Eritrea.
Right.
Basically, in every neighborhood, bro,
Mm-hmm.
these veteran soldiers,
Right.
at least 1 in 3 of these veteran soldiers is a spy.
Right.
Now, these people right here, they're collecting information about everybody, so they're trying to notice
Mm-hmm.
anybody who is acting out of character, who is being defiant towards the government, who is
Right.
basically trying to be rebellious. And what they're gonna do with you is they're gonna write your name down. They're gonna observe you. If they feel like you're a threat, you'll never be heard from again, bro.
Wow.
So
I,
basically, like basically, you cannot basically they have set up a system in which you really can't trust nobody but yourself.
right. I've heard. Yeah, you told me one time that when you're in Eritrea, you just can't talk much to anybody because you don't know what if they're a spy or not.
Yeah, you don't know who is who. Even one of the things I know about is that I heard people say that even at the general level, these two generals, there might be like two really powerful generals like tacticians.
Right.
See what he do to those people is he never wants these two to be at peace with one another. So he will put one spy in between both of them, blackmailing these two, so that these two are always arguing with one another. So they're always bickering. This
Really?
internal fear. Yeah, you know why he do that?
Why is that?
Because in the back of his mind, he knows that at some point they're gonna realize the full picture and see what's going on. So if they were to ever unite, he knows that he's in trouble. So he has to keep them he has to keep them fighting at all times. There must never be peace between these two people, because if they were to come together, it's a wrap for him.
Wow. I actually didn't. My goodness, bro. I did not actually even knew about that sort of thing. So that kind of tells me too that there's like a lot of dissension going on inside the capital too. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
unbelievable, bro.
and
Like,
bro, and this about religious, in religion as well. It's
right.
not like when you normally watch every TV, which is just probably propaganda over there.
It's
Or
garbage, bro. I don't even watch. You know what? I actually had Eritrean TV about 5 years ago. Watched it,
uh,
and after like a few months, I said to myself, "This is just pure garbage." Like, bro, like everything about it is just like entirely garbage. Even if I didn't understand Tigrinya at all, it's like, bro, it's pure garbage, man. Like legit garbage.
yeah, basically, you see this sort of divide and conquer system.
Mm-hmm.
They have it down all the way from the government level all the
Yep.
way to the civilian level.
Yeah.
So you really can't do anything against the system. So what a lot of people just resort to saying now at this point is that there is no hope for unity because it's divided like this. So the only way this thing could be set right is if somebody from within his close circles
Right.
do something about it.
Right.
But
You know,
another thing, what I hear about people saying is that he constantly changes his close circle.
constantly, right?
See, and when I tell you change them, I hope you understand what I mean.
Okay. Oh, you mean he changes like his administrators almost on every given day? Is that what you're saying?
No. Like I don't know how often it is, but I know he changes it regularly.
Wow.
Basically, let me give you like a little analogy from what I heard old soldiers used to say before. Basically, if they feel like you are a threat, this is what they're gonna do to you. They're gonna arrest you.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna kill you somewhere, and
Mm-hmm.
whoever killed you will be killed by somebody else. So it goes all the way like that, and up to
Wow.
a certain point, up to a point where whoever is doing the killing is fully trusted by them guys over there. It goes down like that. So there is no witnesses. There is nothing.
Wow. That's basically like you somebody committed the murder, but then somebody who ordered the action is kind of like we don't trust what you're gonna do if you're gonna like took it to the police or something like that. So we're just gonna kill you too, and then just keep
Uh,
it under wraps. That kind of thing. Wow.
it's basically like this, bro. It's like this simply. Uh, say like if you were the one to do the killing, hey bro, if you basically committed if you actually did the killing yourself, bro, what that makes you in the eyes is you're now a liability. You're not an asset no more. So at any given time, you could speak out. You could speak about this sort of thing.
Wow.
So you got to be dealt with.
Yeah, man. Unbelievable, bro. Hey, Pula, were you trying to say something, my brother?
Yeah, the thing is the original purpose of Eritrea was good because it wanted to develop itself. It
Right.
didn't want it didn't want any handouts. It wanted to do things on the ground level,
Right.
and that's what I really respected about it because
Mm-hmm.
it was a grassroots operation.
Correct.
And I think that if it would have succeeded at doing that, then it would be a different conversation altogether.
Right.
I'm not saying that like there's no dissension within, but I'm saying that a lot of that cause of dissension happens from outside sources. Like,
Right.
I'm sorry to say it, the United States has a lot to do with that
Agreed.
because the reason why is if the United States were to let an African nation develop itself to the highest level, other
Right.
African nations are going to take heed and do the same thing.
Right.
I'll give you an example. In Nigeria, there was a time in Nigeria where the naira was higher than the dollar bill. Okay.
Okay.
What happened though is that the leadership of the time in Nigeria said, we don't want a World Bank and we don't want an IMF bank. That's what they said. They said
Right.
we don't need those things. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we can nationalize our own things. So the United States said, okay, no problem. And the CIA did a coup d'etat along with Saudi Arabia,
Mm-hmm.
and the new leadership put a World Bank, put IMF in there, and basically plundered the country,
Mm-hmm.
amassed wealth for himself, gave the other wealth to the powers that be,
Right.
and it left it the way it is right now, the way we see it right now. So I think, in my opinion, Eritrea is a victim of destabilization tactics that were done the same way they were done in Libya is being done here in Eritrea, and I just feel that imperialism will not let you succeed at building a self-sufficient African country because of the simple fact, if one African nation is self-sufficient, the rest will catch on. And guess what? They'll kick all the rest of the Europeans out of there. And I guarantee you, for example, a country like France, if France had no control of their African colonies, guess what? France would be, the country of France would be like, it would look like a third world country, put it that way.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Respect that. No problem with that. So, hey, Johnny, were you going to say something?
Oh, no. I'm just going to say that what Fuller said is absolutely true. And I know that I heard that Eritrea is pretty much controlled by some Italian mafia, something like that. The government have links with them.
Right. I've heard about that too. Because remember, if you go back to Eritrean history too, when Europeans were trying to colonize the entire country of Africa, the region of the East Africa was controlled by Mussolini and the Italians.
Mm. Yeah, but that was excellent breakdown, Fuller.
Yeah, bro, that's really an excellent breakdown. Because like this is more, the way I see it is, it's not just more of a regional problem; it's more of a deeper global problem. Because the thing is, the Western world fears, grassroots movements and globalization of its own individual country because they're not going to receive the benefits of that region. So, to me, it's like what they want to try to do is from all African countries is to continue their grip on it because they don't want to see that kind of development.
I want to say something real quick.
Go ahead, man.
You know what the strategy is that they do with this divide and conquer? They do the divide and conquer, but guess what? They'll finance the guy that they want in power, and then what they'll do is they'll say, "Oh, he did it."
Right.
They'll be like, "Oh, he did it," not telling the truth that they had something to do with it. That's what they always do. They try to blame it on us when, as a matter of fact, they had something to do with it. For
Correct.
example, Thomas Sankara, right? May God have mercy on him. What he was trying to do was incredible. It was big. What the French try to paint the image, the French try to paint this image that, oh, his own people killed him. No, the CIA and the French Secret Service arming and plotting and giving his own people the okay killed him.
Right.
That's who killed him. They won't say that though. They always hide that from us. That's
right.
what they do.
Right, exactly too. So, hey, Johnny, you remember? I remember that one name that's just like at the top of my head. You remember Hapite Walatensai? You remember that? That name sound familiar?
No, it don't ring a bell. Is he supposed to be? Who? Can
He
you
was
say that name again, please?
I think it's Haile Walatensai.
No, I never heard it. Is he supposed to be Ethiopian Prime Minister or something?
No, he was actually, I think he was the foreign minister of defense previously, but also he was part of that G15 crew that was basically arrested in 2001. Because I remembered a speech that he talked about, I think it was in 2000. That was actually months after the border war ended, where he kind of stated that in order for Eritrea to be where it's at, we had to be united as a front. And what stood out to me was that there was a bit of a dissension and the dysfunction within the group still too, including the outside influence there too, that was leading to the breakdown of what turns out to be what it is right now. You feel what I'm saying about that?
Yeah, I feel you, bro. Well, yeah, like Fuller said, bro. It's not just an internal issue. There's a bigger external force, bro, doing the dirty work.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
But then again, how can you not blame the African leaders when they made the choice to do business with these people? You may argue that these people were blackmailed into doing such thing, but what are you supposed to think if that's the case?
Right. Exactly, though, man. And like, I sometimes tell to myself, though. See you later, Mom. I sometimes ask myself, like, 1 second. Okay. Sometimes I ask myself, like, the one thing that boggles my mind is that that these African leaders are sometimes so dependent on outside influence to try to like maneuver what they wanted to establish in their own country. When in actual fact, you could basically maybe go to that grassroots movement, but establish the rule of law there. And I think a lot of times there as well that we rely so much on the Western countries to establish what they want to see, that sometimes it's more of like they'll take advantage of the opportunity to try to take something to only benefit for themselves. You feel that?
Yeah, you're right, bro. There was some recent article I read. I just came across, and it said that these funding that it is given to African nations, like these loans, they're actually financed by the African by the African nations, natural resources. They're actually, when these countries go for try to get a loan from these from these Western countries, what these Western countries are actually doing is they're using the African resources from Africa to finance. I mean, to give you pretty much just the resources are just pretty much just being used to give you a loan, and on
Right.
top of that, you're gonna have to pay your own resources as a loan or some sort of something like that.
I'll give you an example.
Go ahead.
Thomas Sankara, okay, he said, and he was addressing all the African leaders. He said, we will never pay the debt back. So we might as well not pay them back and develop our countries. Because look, Thomas Sankara also said, he who feeds you controls you. Okay, and that's why, like, I don't want to say too much in my business, but I'm in the process of buying land,
Right.
where I come from, so I can, like, because the Chinese, at the end of the day, we're almost dependent on Chinese right now for our food, for everything that we can grow. For example, rice. No, for example, in Ivory Coast, this made no sense to me. In Ivory Coast, this makes no sense. Ivory Coast is the world's largest cocoa producer. Okay. They do something so backwards that I scratched my head and asked myself, okay, what are we really learning from what people tried to teach us before? They export the cocoa, okay? They import it back into chocolate and coffee. Why not do it there?
Right.
That makes no sense.
Correct.
That makes no sense at all. That's like the most backwards thing to do. Seriously.
Right.
And so the United States and Europe and these other imperialist nations don't want it to happen. They did it with Grenada. They destabilized Grenada. They've been trying to destabilize Cuba. That's not. They're doing it with Venezuela.
Yep.
Africa is simply afraid to stand up on its own too, because it's afraid of the consequences that come with that. That's why you see all these military bases, these United States military bases in Africa right now. That's why you see all this terrorism in Africa right now. The military bases are not there to bring peace to the country. The military bases are there to get the resources of the country. They're not there to bring peace.
Yeah, not only that, Fuller. Sorry to cut you off, but they're
No,
also,
go ahead.
These military bases, they're also over there just setting up these so-called, like polio treatment centers. These disease treatment centers. So they're actually injecting you with diseases.
Exactly.
So
And
they're killing you and robbing you at the same time.
And that's the problem. Like countries who try to do it themselves, the leader is gonna be internationally a wanted man. Just right off back. He's gonna be a wanted man. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, Africa is the most richest country the richest continent in the world. It's the richest continent in the world in terms of natural resources. There's nobody can beat it. Nigeria, I'm telling you, if Nigeria wanted to, Nigeria could feed all of Africa. I'm telling you, it's that rich there.
Right.
My uncle works there. He tells me there's diamonds, there's gold, there's oil, there's minerals, there's everything there. But there's not the right leadership, because if the right leadership gets in power, guess what? There's going to be a destabilization campaign. That's why these Western countries are happy when there's conflict, internal conflict in Africa, because they know that's when they step in and that's what they can do what they want to do. And that's when most of the time we're going to call for help.
Right.
That's how it works. You know?
They create the problem so they can offer the solution and take over from there.
That's what
exactly.
That's a great point Full made, though, because what's happening is, when African countries get into kind of conflicts, I'll talk you up an example. Minnesota is the highest rated Somali population all the United States of America. The one thing that always weaks my mind when it comes to their conflict is that every time when they go into Somalia, they're not there to try to stop the fight. What they're doing is they're trying to reap the benefits and the natural resources from that country to gain for themselves. So why do you think the conflict in Somalia has been going on for almost about about 2 decades? It's because it's more about global expansion and also, global economic benefit. That's just how it is. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the problem is for us immigrants whose either parents left the country or who left the country directly, all we can do is just look in and try to do what we can from the outside, letting people know.
Right.
We do want to, I'm telling you, if it were up to me, I would go back to Africa. I would I would go back home in a second. But it's just that the climate doesn't permit that, because right now we're still the bottom line is Africa is still colonized. It's still colonized. That's the bottom line. We're still colonial people.
Right.
We have not broken the chains of colonialism. Colonialism has just came into how should I say it? Into different names. Colonialism has came into the name of IMF. Colonialism has came in the name of World Bank. Colonialism has came into the name of humanitarian aid.
Exactly.
Especially that one. That's the biggest one.
Right.
And so what are we left to do? That's the thing. What are we left to do? All we can do is get groups out here together and just formulate ideas about what to do. Me personally, not to talk too much, me personally, I really effed heavy with the Eritreans, because I'm not gonna lie, they're interacting with Ethiopians out here, they have a different way about themselves, that they're superior because they never got colonized, but they did get colonized. Not on paper, but they did get colonized. People like Haile Selassie, but that dude, come on now. How are you going to give parts of Africa away to British, man? Right. I know he did that. They don't know he did that. But, it's just But I really mess with Eritreans, because the ones I mess with, they were always laid back. They were always chill. And they always identified with black. The average Ethiopian, the average Somalian will say that, oh, no, I'm not black. I'm mixed. Even this Ethiopian I know right now, is that what he'll say is I'm from Ethiopia, but I'm originally Yemen. And he doesn't even know a lick of Arabic. He doesn't know a lick of Arabic. I speak more Arabic than he does.
Right.
Right. And so that's what I'm saying. But Eritreans have always identified with African. Even the Arabic speaking ones have identified with African that I have met, And so that's why I really mess with them. And then when I learned more about their struggle, I respected them even more, because they fought 3 world powers,
Right. Because remember, in the independence board, the Eritreans not just fought the Ethiopians. Remember, during the 80s, when Mendes was actually in power too, he was also receiving weapon aid and things of that sort from the Soviet Union.
Yeah, the Soviet Union. That's what I'm saying, and South Africa.
Correct.
Because with South Africa, they were trying to push apartheid to everywhere. They weren't just trying to leave it in South Africa. They were trying to push it to Namibia and Angola.
Correct.
Wow.
That's what they wanted to do. And so me as like an African, like, man, like I really want what's best for us, because I'm going to be honest with you, man. Like when you go to third world countries, and I'll let you guys talk, when you go to different countries, like when you go to like Latin America, when you go to like Africa, people are still on their natural disposition. Like people still act like people there. Like honestly, if you've been in the United States too long, or in the West period, you start to not act like a person, man. I'm just saying, you're no longer on a natural disposition unless you really, really try. Unless you remind yourself constantly where you come from. Other than that, I've seen so many other African dudes get lost, like trying to be something. I've seen it happen. I've seen African women think that by them marrying a Caucasian dude, that's just gonna make it better for them. I've seen it all.
And also, not to just cut you off real quick, but there's also like a tradition in our heritage too as well that that a lot of times they'll try to let these women they let the family decide who they marry because they want their money and stuff like that. And it's like and there was one point in time too where my father tried to implement that when I was about 21 years old. I immediately shut that down because like. First of all, you're not going to tell me who I marry, and you're not going to make me go into somebody that I don't know of. And secondly, you're doing this for your own benefit, though, because you don't know how to produce money for yourself to help your family. And it's like that kind of speaks to the issue of the whole colonization idea.
Because that's exactly the thing.
Right.
Like, the thing is, before colonization, even in my language, there wasn't a word for rape. Okay, we didn't have a word for that. The term that women should be in the kitchen, that came from Europe.
Exactly.
In traditional African society, the women were always involved, whether it be teaching, whether it be something else. They were always involved. It's just later when the colonialism happened is when that whole thing got set, and we just lost the balance.
Right. Exactly.
We just lost our balance.
Right.
And then when guys like Thomas Sankara, when guys like Amilcar Cabral, when guys like the original EPLF, when they were implementing the women and stuff like that, we were trying to get that back. But then again, like someone kept us from getting it back.
Right. Exactly. Say, I'm going to take a phone call real quick so you guys can continue the conversation. I'll be right back. Okay, guys?
Dang. Hey, Fuller, man, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah. No, I read a book about the EPLF, and ever since I read the book about the EPLF, I've been hooked. And I also had the pleasure of knowing Nipsey Hussle, and knowing like that he got inspiration from the Eritrean struggle for independence to build his thing grassroots. He took the struggle and said that it's better to build it grassroots. It's better to build it organic. And I guess you can say there was one post I remember. It was long ago though. It was hecka long ago. There was one post where Nipsey Hussle said he was an immigrant. And I guess he considered himself an immigrant due to the fact that his father was, and that his father came from Eritrea, And I guess like, most of us Africans, we're patrilineal, we're patrilineal. It's like we go based off of what our dad is,
Yeah.
So I guess that's why he kind of did that. But now, now that I hear the news about Eritrea right now, I think it's sad. And I really hope that the problems are rectified and that it continues the track it was going for when it fought for independence.
Hey, yo, Fuller, mate. The thing is, even if you say that there's somehow the power that's in place right now is to be eliminated somehow, because there is, there is like tensions between different ethnicities in Eritrea that's not reported on.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically like
I'm
hidden.
back,
It's
guys.
like
So go ahead, Johnny.
it's like secretive. It's like hidden. It's like hidden like secret tensions between religions, between different ethnic groups and things like that. So
Right.
even so, like I don't know, how you would solve the situation over there.
Right. And before Fuller talks, so I just want to say this though too. The one thing that is just, when I talk with various Eritrean people in the United States, is that they all want this administration to be gone. But the problem is, how are you going to balance out a lot of the internal problems that's going on in the country though too? Because remember, you have religious problems. You also have ethnicity problems because there's so many other groups that are being, oppressed and being pushed out of the country though. I'll give you a perfect example. The Kunam, the Arab, the Afar, people there too.
Oh, Afar, yeah, they
Yeah,
live in the southern sea, the southern part of the country.
exactly. And what I remember watching that documentary on Vice News too, there's I think there was a rebel Afar group that's basically building right now, a building they're trying to ready to fight for against the government though as well. I don't know what the current state of that is though, but the thing is this. Even if the Eritrean government as it stands right now is being removed, the question is going to be, how do you try to balance out the rules, the laws, and how you try to settle out all the people from different religions and different ethnicities and different, villages to try to come together to accept a full-fledged constitution that everybody can agree to.
You know what I think, and this is just I can't really tell you what you should do with your country,
Right,
but
right.
I think what people need, I think what Eritrea really needs, it's like they need people committees where people get into groups themselves and they decide, okay, this is what we need, this is what we desire. And they should all get these committees together and then hand these ideas and be to the government and try to negotiate something. But the bottom line is power has to be in the hands of the people. The thing is that it has to be I want to say that Grenada had the right idea.
Mm-hmm.
Grenada had the right idea, and Venezuela had the right idea by having these committees and having groups in the neighborhood where they would decide okay, this is what we need, this is our situation, what can we do? And then I think also what we also have to think about is as far as the ethnic tensions go, I think what it has to do with the ethnic tensions, mostly, I think it has to do with the fact that maybe one ethnic group controls something more than the other ethnic group. Because that's another thing that they do.
Okay.
Is that I may be wrong though. In the Central Africa Republic, for example, the reason why it had its problems, it had nothing to do with religion. It had nothing to do with sectarian violence, right?
Right.
What it had to do with was the fact that my ethnic group, the Fulani, they were mostly in control of the diamond mines, okay? So the French didn't like it because the Fulani were putting the money back into what they need, what they're looking for, right? So the French said, well, to the other ethnic groups, well, you're going to let them just control this. You're going to let them do this. You're going to let them do that. And then, the French throw in the Christian thing. They're like, well, Christ said this, Christ said that.
Right.
And then it comes down to it. And then, Fulani, majority Muslim, they use that against them. But even in certain cases, sometimes the people who are fighting, who they label mostly Muslim, may not be Muslim sometimes.
Right.
You may ask one of them like, yo, you Muslim? And he'll laugh at you. He'll be like, I still worship my African deity or whatever. So the ethnic thing is the worst thing that they do to us. The ethnic tribal thing is what they do to us the worst. And, that's why I was impressed about the EPLF, because you had different ethnic groups, you had different religions, and they were able to get together and make something happen.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead, John, back Johnny.
Sorry to cut you off, but the way they built unity was during the war times. Like the soldiers were mainly like from all the 9 ethnic groups. So what they would do is they like even the generals, like the generals, commanders, the soldiers, and everybody, they would eat together. They would relax together. They would chill together. They would like basically do pretty much everything together. So that built like trust and unity. That's how the whole army was able to defeat the enemy like that. But post the independence, they basically just the government just put out a system in where they divided everybody up.
Right.
But,
Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. That's all I just wanted to put in there.
Okay, for sure, man. So I'll just wrap that subject before I get to stay away and want him to eat the crow on the Houston Rockets though for a second. The bottom line is this. At some point in time, though, as a people, like including myself, I want to see a country be the unified, force that was supposed to be after the country gained independence. So until we as a collective unit can understand the mistakes and all the critical errors that were made during that time, learn from that, and then basically figure out a way to reconstruct the country and understand, give a rule of law for every person to agree upon, then I believe in my heart of hearts the country can develop and be the country that it should have been. Do you kind of feel that way, Phil? Go ahead and give me your last words on that subject, then we'll switch back, and then we'll switch it to basketball. You there, Fula?
yeah, the bottom line is this. This is the bottom line. We have to look, like, as Africans, we have to look into ourselves and really face ourselves and realize that, okay, this is happening because such and such, such and such. We have to reflect upon ourselves, and the leadership has to reflect upon itself and realize that what it's doing, that this Westminster democracy that we have in Africa doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Nope.
We're a completely different people. We have completely different customs. We have completely different life views. You can't impose something that's not going to work for us.
Exactly.
So for leadership, I think for the African leadership, they need to look into themselves and take a good look in their eyes and ask themselves, what am I doing?
All right. Good way to close that out. Hey, Johnny, you got anything to finish that subject before we switch to basketball?
Hey, man, all I can say is that to the African leaders who be doing these things, who be selling out their people, selling their resources for the low, selling it, and things like that. I just want them to just look into themselves and realize that what they're doing it's only gonna hurt them. This money that they be offered by these companies or these threats that they be making.
Right.
I'm saying they're using that to leverage you to hand your things in. I just pretty much is just that. Just get out just step out the box and see the bigger picture. That's all I wanted. That's all I got to say.
All right, there you go. I'm glad we had this conversation, though, bro. So I'll try to figure out a way to extend it a little bit, though, to try to add some history to it and then some social things in there. And hopefully we can have a more of a deep dialogue. But now, Mr. Stay Ready Boxing TV, what's up, homie? You there, Stay Ready? Okay, he's probably at mute at the moment. But, the fact, let me say this, though, to you. Houston Rockets, though, Stay Ready. Today, you're going to be eating this crow today, brother. You're going to be eating this major crow. Because for everyone that's listening, that's tuning in, yesterday on 503's live stream, he basically put a wager of 100 push-ups to try to say that the Houston Rockets was going to force a Game 7. And guess what? I won the bet. So, Mr. Stay Ready, how's it feel, homie? He's probably on mute right now because he's probably still in shock about what happened. Oh man. So, what you thought about the game last night, though, Johnny?
Yeah, man. I was cool until the fourth quarter, and then James Harden, bro. Really, he choked again in the fourth quarter, but I thought he played well.
Yeah.
Chris Paul did it. Yeah, Chris Paul did his thing. Steph Curry just Steph carried himself. Steph carried the Houston Rockets in the fourth quarter, bro. That was just so heartbreaking, bro.
Right, exactly, though, man. And it's just that this is what I've been saying about James Harden. Here's the big knock I have against James Harden, and I know Stay Ready is listening to this. The big knock I have as James Harden is that when it comes down to the bigness of the moment when you're supposed to just make plays, don't worry about getting the foul call, just make plays and step up and just help lead your team. I just don't see James Harden. I just think James Harden's incapable of leading his team to a level where it's mostly championship level. This has been a guy that's been known for choking, going back to his days at Arizona State. You understand? This guy chokes under the pressure. I know you're hearing this, Stay Ready, but it's okay, bro. It's all good. I'm not gonna rub it in too much, though. You know what I'm saying? But the Warriors have had the Rockets number for the last 4 to 5 years, and every time they met in the playoffs, because the first time they had Dwight Howard, that ended real quick, and then I think they met what back in back 2016? I don't think they did, but then 2017 they got beat. Then last year, breaking all of them threes and everything else, they choked again. And what's so funny to me? Ticket TV made this illustration, made this really good point though too. How is it that you have Nene grabbing every single rebound, and then you don't put him in the game for the rest of the time, and you decide to put Clint Capella there, who was complete garbage, Like, bro, I don't understand the thinking of Mike D'Antoni. This is why he failed in Phoenix, he's failed in New York, and he's going to fail in Houston. I'm telling you, his system does not work in terms of winning a championship. And I'm very surprised that a lot of these Houston fans don't see the writing on the wall in terms of that. You know what I mean? All right, let me put the microphone on mute on John Black Johnny for a moment here. So that's just how I see it, though, man. And I know Stay Ready is still on mute, though, man, and still taking in the loss. So whatever you want to do, the 100 push-ups, still Stay Ready. I'm right here. You can do it now, or you can just do it later on. So, and okay, he just left, though, man. So, but one thing is this, though, man. The Rockets every time in these playoffs has just bottled me to the amount of time. Oh yeah, I can hear you now. What's going on, brother?
What's up with it, man? I don't mind eating crow. We lost.
Oh no,
no. Let me finish. You gotta let me finish.
Go ahead.
You gotta let me finish. We lost.
Go ahead.
I accept defeat. You were right. I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect us to lose like that. Chris Paul really, man.
Stinked up the joint, huh?
He dropped 27, but he looked like garbage last night. James Harden put up 35 in a losing effort, and the rest of the team looked like didn't nobody else put up in double digits. Nobody.
Right. Nobody.
Man, what the bro? Bro, James Harden can't do it by himself. I like real honestly, he can't.
I agree. I agree with that. But you also, James Harden's got to accept accountability for what he did, though, too. Because remember, Kobe Bryant said on ESPN that his style of play, in terms of the
He said, "Yeah, I know." He said that. He said that months ago. But at the same time, that's not his style of play. Because if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't even be in the position that we was in. So his style of play got us there.
no,
Before
I
that,
agree.
before that, he was playing D'Antoni's style of play, and D'Antoni's style of play had us losing at the beginning of the season. Then
Right.
when he started playing like that, guess what? We were from the All-Star break to the end of the season, we won more games than any other team.
So yeah, but again, it's regular season. But when it comes to
Yeah,
postseason,
no, I get that, but what I'm
I
saying
mean,
is his style of play got us to that position. So he need help. They have the players to give us help, but they won't do nothing about it. So I just gotta accept that we not ready. Like honestly, we not. It's just
I mean, think about this. This is like 4 out of the last 5 years. Anytime the Rockets have faced against the Warriors, they just cannot figure this out. Because
yeah.
bro, how is it that let me here's the thing that I remember what Sick TV said last night, and it's actually a really good point. How is it that Nene, who's basically had a really good matchup against Looney, basically was grabbing them boards, but then all of a sudden Mike D'Antoni decides to bring Clint Capella back into the game, and Looney did whatever he wanted. I don't know what to say. And the other thing too is you also had Kenneth Faried off the bench too, who can also bang as well. I mean, you needed guys who can bang and get rebounds to get second chance points, so that way the backcourt can at least do something with it, you know. And honestly though, man, you know, D'Antoni. This is why I will always say D'Antoni will never ever win a championship with the same system you've been running. It's proven he never won a title in Phoenix. It basically, you telling me that you're gonna say that Jeremy Lin was gonna be your main guy over Carmelo Anthony? Give me a break.
Man, Jeremy Lin had a winning.
Yeah,
His system made Jeremy Lin look like that.
exactly though, bro. But when you saw him in Houston, though, bro, you saw what for him what he is. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, but I give it to you, bro. I lost.
Mhm.
You know, it is what it is. I told y'all I was gonna come on here and tell you I lost. But man, right now I'm over here with my sister for her gender reveal, so I'm gonna have to jump off. But I had to jump on and eat my crow. I did that. I lost, and I owe you.
But when do you want to do your push-ups?
Man, I can't do it today.
I
But I
know you
got you.
can't. I know you can't though. But just message me on
They
Hangouts.
coming. They
All
coming.
right. All right, but I'll be there on your live stream when that happens, though, bro.
All right.
I'm gonna be there watching it.
All right.
All right, man. Go ahead and have fun, bro.
All
Take
right,
care, all
bro.
right?
Pick.
All right, man. All right, man. That was Stay Ready Boxing TV, though, man. Basically eating his crow off the Houston Rockets, the loss, though, man. So, you know, at the end of the day, though, man, you gotta give Stay Ready credit. You know, he's going to accept eating his crow, and we're just gonna live on with it, though. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, though, man, and because it's Mother's Day tomorrow, so I got to go find a gift for my mom, though, man, who's basically turned 50 this year. So, Johnny, you gonna do anything for Mother's Day?
I don't even know, bro.
Oh,
Damn.
I know, bro. Like I remember, like it was Wednesday, and then I looked at the calendar, and I was like, "Oh crap, it's Mother's Day this Sunday." It's like, oh man, now I gotta figure out what I'm supposed to get her. Now I'm not trying to be no expensive person, nothing like that, but I gotta make sure to give my mother something that she truly deserves for being the best parent that it could be. You know.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was gonna be Mom's Day, but just get some from the hut, I guess.
Right. I might just go to the mall. You know what? I'll tell you this though, Johnny. When you ever decide to move to Minnesota, I don't know if you would want to or anything, but I'm going to show you the Mall of America. It is like the largest mall in the United States. It's basically like a shopping mall and an amusement park combined, though. So I might show it through Messenger. Have you heard about that?
Nah, I've not heard about it. Nah, but it sounds interesting.
Yeah, I'm actually might go down there so that through Messenger and then maybe just show you around a little bit though. But yeah, it's actually what they did was that they actually renovated the whole mall. So now they added hotels and other luxury suites to there too. It's now a better top notch mall than what it is before. So you know what I'm saying. So go ahead and try to give me some last words though, man, before I shut this down.
Hey, bro, just take care.
Yeah, man, and thank you for also just talking this Eritrean stuff, man. I know it's a very touchy subject. You know, I personally try to figure out a way to make sure that it doesn't steer the conversation to a darker place, though, man. But I think this is a good start, though, and I hoping that I can share this with other people. Maybe just open the idea to it, though, and hopefully that it can just maybe spark a conversation. Hopefully it leads somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Take care, bro.
Yeah, take care, brother. So that was Johnny, though, man, representing the UK, though, man. My Eritrean brother doing what he does best. Very knowledgeable brother, though, man. So this has been Abil Mahari, representing MehariNation Sports Podcast here. Salute to the entire LDBC, man. And then I'm going to be back same place, same time, 3 p.m. Central Time. Same bad place, same bad channel. Have a good night, everybody.